Welcome, students! Let's take your English speaking to the next level with this video on 3 hours of advanced English speaking practice. Enjoy the video. What defines a healthy work-life balance and how can one achieve it? A healthy work-life balance is characterized by allocating time to both work and personal life. Achieving it involves setting boundaries, prioritizing self-care, and managing time efficiently. What role does creativity play in problem solving, and how can individuals cultivate a creative mindset in their daily lives? Creativity is crucial for finding innovative solutions. Individuals can cultivate a creative mindset by embracing curiosity, exploring diverse perspectives, and allowing time for reflection and brainstorming. What psychological effects does music have on the human brain? Music can affect mood, memory, and cognitive abilities, and it's used in therapy for stress relief and mental health. What are the implications of 5G technology on communication and connectivity? 5G technology offers faster internet speeds, low latency, and supports various emerging technologies like autonomous vehicles. What are the physical and mental benefits of regular participation in sports? Sports improve cardiovascular health, muscle strength, coordination, and mental well-being by reducing stress and improving focus. What role does the jet stream play in shaping global weather patterns? The jet stream, a high-altitude, fast-flowing air current, influences weather by steering storm systems and affecting temperature and precipitation patterns. What are the factors that contribute to the rise of online shopping and its impact on traditional brick and mortar shops? Factors like convenience, accessibility, and a wider variety of choices contribute to the growth of online shopping, affecting traditional retail models. What are the potential benefits of a strong community network and supportive neighbourly relationships? Benefits include increased safety, social support, shared resources, and a sense of belonging that improves the overall quality of life within a community. What are the fundamental cooking techniques essential for a beginner in the kitchen? Basic techniques like sautéing, boiling, roasting, and chopping are fundamental skills that form the foundation of cooking for beginners. What are effective strategies for creating and maintaining a cleaning schedule for a household? Developing a routine, focusing on specific areas each day, and using tools or checklists can help establish and maintain a cleaning schedule. What factors contribute to a conducive sleep environment for better sleep quality? Factors like a comfortable mattress, a cool, dark room, and a consistent sleep schedule contribute to creating a conducive sleep environment. What are the common reasons behind habitual lateness and strategies to overcome it? Procrastination, poor time management, or underestimating time needed are common causes. Strategies include planning buffer time and setting reminders. What are the essential services and facilities available at a typical train station? Train stations offer ticketing services, waiting areas, restrooms, dining options, and often provide information on arrivals and departures. What are the cognitive and emotional benefits of reading regularly? Regular reading improves cognitive functions, enhances empathy, reduces stress, and boosts mental well-being by engaging the imagination. What impact does the choice of shower products have on the skin and the environment? Using gentle, eco-friendly products reduces skin irritation and minimizes environmental impact through biodegradable or sustainably sourced ingredients. How can families ensure the balance between work, school, and personal time within their daily routines? Establishing clear boundaries and designated time slots for work, school, and personal activities is crucial. Creating a structured schedule that accommodates all these facets while allowing for downtime is key to maintaining balance. How can individuals effectively network to enhance their career opportunities? Attending industry events, engaging in online forums or professional groups, and nurturing genuine connections through follow-ups and shared experiences can strengthen professional networks. How do different dance forms reflect and express cultural identities and narratives? Dance forms often represent cultural values, traditions, and historical narratives, serving as a form of cultural expression and storytelling. How can someone effectively manage and improve their punctuality and avoid being late? Utilizing tools like alarms, planning buffer time, setting reminders, and prioritizing tasks can help in being more punctual. How can individuals make healthier choices when dining out at restaurants? Opting for grilled or steamed dishes, choosing water instead of sugary drinks, and being mindful of portion sizes can contribute to healthier restaurant dining. How can someone efficiently plan and organize for a holiday to ensure a stress-free experience? Researching destinations, creating an itinerary, booking accommodations and activities in advance, and packing smartly contribute to a well-organized holiday. How can someone navigate difficult conversations or conflicts with friends in a respectful and constructive manner? Using I statements, active listening, and finding common ground can aid in resolving conflicts and maintaining positive friendships. How can someone effectively deliver a joke or a punchline to ensure it's well received? Practice timing, use body language, and adapt to the audience's reactions to effectively deliver a joke or punchline. How can someone prepare and effectively sell their car in the market? Thoroughly clean the car, gather maintenance records, take clear photos, set a reasonable price, and advertise across various platforms. How can individuals maintain a healthy balance between time spent on social media and their overall well-being? Setting time limits, creating a positive feed, and engaging in real-life activities can help maintain a healthy balance with social media usage. How can individuals ensure they drink an adequate amount of water daily? Setting reminders, carrying a reusable water bottle, and dividing water intake goals throughout the day can help in maintaining adequate hydration. How are ergonomic chairs designed to support posture and reduce strain on the body? Ergonomic chairs are designed with adjustable features to support the natural curves of the spine, promoting proper posture and minimizing strain. How can individuals navigate and resolve an argument in a constructive manner? Practice active listening, expressing feelings without blame, and seeking compromise or common ground can help in resolving arguments respectfully. How can individuals explore and enhance their self-expression? Engage in creative activities like writing, art, or music, experimenting with different styles, and reflecting on personal values and beliefs can foster self-expression. How can individuals ensure their new shoes fit comfortably and last longer? Ensuring the right size, breaking in new shoes gradually, using protective sprays, and regular cleaning can maintain shoe comfort and longevity. Where can the Mariana Trench be found, and what makes it the deepest known part of the Earth's oceans? The Mariana Trench is located in the western Pacific Ocean near the Mariana Islands. It's the deepest part of the world's oceans, reaching an astonishing depth of approximately 36,000 feet. Formed due to the tectonic activity between the Pacific and the Philippine Sea plates. Where do young people typically seek guidance and support when facing challenges? Schools, youth centres, online forums, mentors, and family members are common sources of guidance for young people facing challenges. Where can individuals find accurate and updated train schedules and times? Train company websites, mobile apps, train station boards, and travel information centres typically provide accurate and updated train schedules. Where is the best place to brush your teeth for optimal oral hygiene? Using a mirror in a well-lit area, preferably in front of a sink where it's easier to clean and rinse properly, is the best place for brushing teeth. Where can individuals purchase reliable electrical goods or appliances? Reputable electronic stores, authorised dealers, online marketplaces, and manufacturer outlets offer reliable electrical goods and appliances. Where can individuals dispose of chewing gum responsibly after use? Rubbish bins or designated waste receptacles are the appropriate places to discard used chewing gum. Where can individuals find lesser known places of interest to explore in a new city? Tourist information centres, local blogs, travel forums, or apps focused on offbeat attractions can guide individuals to hidden gems. Where is Antarctica located, and what kind of research activities are conducted there? Antarctica is located at the southernmost part of Earth. Research activities in Antarctica include climate studies, glaciology, and wildlife research, often conducted at research stations. Where are good places to have meaningful conversations with family and friends without distractions? Quiet parks, cozy coffee shops, or comfortable living rooms at home provide ideal settings for meaningful conversations. Where is it appropriate to ask for help when encountering difficulties or challenges? In a professional setting, it's suitable to approach supervisors or mentors. In personal matters, trusted friends, family, or support groups can be ideal places to seek help. Where can individuals seek help if they're experiencing personal struggles or mental health issues? Professional counsellors, therapists, support hotlines, or mental health organisations offer support for individuals facing personal challenges. Where can individuals engage in interesting and stimulating conversations with diverse people? Cafes, book clubs, discussion forums, community events, or networking meetups often foster engaging and diverse conversations. Where in a big city can individuals find moments of tranquility and escape from the bustling environment? Parks, botanical gardens, quiet cafes, or scenic walking paths in the city offer tranquil spots away from the city's hustle. Where can individuals access reliable information and resources on the internet for research or learning? Trusted educational websites, online libraries, academic databases, or reputable news outlets are sources of reliable information on the internet. Where can individuals find their nearest police station or law enforcement agency for assistance or reporting incidents? Local government websites, maps apps, or the non-emergency police line can provide information on the nearest police stations. Which strategies can help manage situations where someone tends to talk excessively in conversations? Being mindful of others' cues, practicing active listening, and setting time limits for speaking during conversations can help manage excessive talking. Which types of tennis rackets are suitable for beginners learning the sport? Lightweight and larger head rackets with a mid-size grip are typically recommended for beginners to aid in learning control and technique. Which teaching methods or tools are effective in engaging students in the learning process? Interactive activities, visual aids, and technology integration are effective teaching methods to engage students in the learning process. Which speaking techniques help in improving public speaking skills and reducing nervousness? Controlled breathing, practice, and using visual aids or storytelling techniques are effective in improving public speaking skills and reducing nervousness. Which cleaning products are effective for removing tough stains from different surfaces? Bleach for disinfecting, vinegar for hard water stains, and baking soda for grime are effective cleaners for various surfaces? Which cooking techniques are ideal for retaining nutrients in vegetables while cooking? Steaming, blanching, or quick stir-frying are cooking techniques that preserve the nutrients in vegetables. Which environmental factors contribute to creating an ideal sleep environment for quality rest? Cooler temperatures, low light, and a comfortable mattress and pillow are factors contributing to an ideal sleep environment. Which factors determine the right jogging shoes for an individual's running style? Foot arch type, pronation, and running surface influence the choice of the right jogging shoes for optimal comfort and support. Which specifications should individuals consider when buying a new computer for gaming purposes? High processing power, dedicated graphics card, sufficient RAM, and adequate storage are key specifications for gaming computers. Which activities can be conducive to productive alone time for personal rejuvenation? Reading, journaling, meditating, or engaging in a hobby are activities that can foster relaxation and rejuvenation during alone time. Which criteria can help determine whose advice to trust in decision-making processes? Consider the person's expertise, track record, their understanding of the situation, and their neutrality when seeking advice. Which steps are essential for an efficient morning routine to prepare for work? Setting out clothes the night before, preparing breakfast essentials, and organising work materials are essential steps for an efficient morning routine. Which indicators can help individuals gauge their daily water intake needs? Thirst, the colour of urine, and energy levels are indicators that can help gauge the body's need for water. Which habits can contribute to a healthier balance while living on social media platforms? Setting time limits, unfollowing negative influences, and taking breaks can contribute to a healthier relationship with social media. Which elements define what could be considered the best meal ever for an individual? Fresh ingredients, well-balanced flavours, an appealing presentation, and the overall dining experience contribute to what might be the best meal for an individual. When was the Renaissance period, and how did it influence cultural, artistic, and scientific advancements in Europe? The Renaissance period spanned from the 14th to the 17th century, characterized by a revival of art, literature, and intellectual pursuits. It sparked innovations in art, science, and philosophy, fostering significant cultural and societal changes in Europe. When does thinking out loud benefit problem solving or idea generation? In group discussions or when brainstorming, thinking out loud often fosters collaboration and innovative ideas. When is an appropriate time to have a serious conversation with someone? Choosing a time when both parties are relaxed and undistracted, such as over a meal or during a calm moment, is ideal for serious conversations. When is it beneficial to slow down and engage in deeper thought processes for better decision making. In complex situations or when facing significant choices, allowing time for deeper thought and analysis often leads to better decision-making outcomes. When is the best time to purchase books for budget-friendly deals? During book sales, special promotions, or at the end of the year when stores clear inventory for new stock can offer budget-friendly deals. When is a good time to go dancing for beginners looking to learn without crowds? Early in the evening on weekdays or during dance classes can offer a less crowded and more comfortable environment for beginners to learn. When is an ideal time to take a relaxing bath for stress relief or winding down after a long day? Evenings, particularly before bedtime, can be an ideal time to take a relaxing bath to unwind and prepare for a good night's sleep. When is a suitable time to incorporate a daily walk into a routine for physical and mental well-being? Walking during breaks or after meals can provide a refreshing break and aid in digestion, promoting both physical and mental health. When might choosing the easy option be advantageous in decision making? When under time constraints or in situations requiring quick solutions, opting for the easy route can expedite decisions without compromising quality. When is it fair to attribute responsibility or blame to someone in a situation? When there is clear evidence or a direct connection between someone's actions and the outcome, it might be fair to attribute responsibility or blame. When should someone plan and choose their party outfit for a special event? Planning the outfit a day or two in advance allows time for any alterations or changes, ensuring a well-prepared look for the event. When does the body typically sweat the most during physical activity? The body tends to sweat the most during intense physical activity or in hot conditions when the body needs to regulate its temperature. When is it important to agree with someone's viewpoint or perspective? Agreeing with someone's viewpoint is important when it aligns with your own beliefs, encourages cooperation, or when it brings positivity to the conversation. When do most dreams occur during the sleep cycle? Dreams occur primarily during the REM stage of sleep, which happens in shorter intervals throughout the night, with the most vivid dreams occurring during later REM cycles. When is the brain's capacity for memory retention often at its peak during the day? The brain's capacity for memory retention tends to be stronger in the morning or after adequate rest, but can vary between individuals based on their natural rhythm. Why is open communication with the doctor important during medical consultations? Open communication builds trust, allows for accurate diagnosis, and aids in understanding treatment options, ensuring better healthcare outcomes. Why is it important to believe in someone's abilities or potential? Believing in someone can boost their confidence, motivation, and sense of support, often leading to improved performance and personal growth. Why is dancing with someone beneficial for building connections or relationships? Dancing with someone fosters non-verbal communication, trust, and shared enjoyment, which can strengthen bonds and create positive experiences. Why is showing care and compassion important in personal relationships or social interactions? Caring fosters trust, emotional bonds, and a sense of support, creating a positive environment for healthier relationships and well-being. Why do traffic jams occur, and what contributes to their prevalence? Traffic jams result from a high volume of vehicles, accidents, road construction, or adverse weather conditions, impacting the flow of traffic and causing congestion. Why are life hacks beneficial for everyday routines or tasks? Life hacks offer efficient solutions or shortcuts, saving time and effort in daily activities, making routines more manageable. Why is camping an enriching experience for individuals or families? Camping allows for connection with nature, relaxation, and fosters a break from the daily routine, promoting mental and physical well-being. Why do people enjoy sweet and sour food combinations? The combination of sweet and sour flavors can stimulate multiple taste receptors, providing a complex and enjoyable taste experience. Why might individuals sometimes find themselves getting into trouble? Misunderstandings, impulsivity, or lack of consideration for consequences can sometimes lead individuals into challenging situations or trouble. Why is going on a date an important aspect of building relationships or exploring romantic connections? Dates provide opportunities to get to know someone, build rapport, and explore potential connections, fostering the growth of relationships. Why is having a comfortable bed essential for quality sleep and overall well-being? A comfortable bed promotes better sleep quality, reduces aches and pains, and contributes to overall physical and mental well-being. Why do people sometimes choose to whisper in conversations or discussions? Whispering can convey confidentiality, create an intimate atmosphere, and maintain privacy in discussions or conversations. Why is learning a new language beneficial for personal and professional growth? Learning a new language enhances cognitive abilities, cultural understanding, and can open doors to career opportunities in a globalized world. Why do people engage with social media platforms in their daily lives? Social media allows connections with others, sharing experiences and staying updated, creating a sense of community and belonging. Why is travelling to new places an enriching experience for individuals? Travelling to new places broadens perspectives, offers exposure to diverse cultures, and creates lasting memories and personal growth. Who should one contact to investigate a strange or persistent smell in a building or locality? Building management or the local environmental authority are typically responsible for investigating unusual smells? Who can provide grooming tips and guidance for maintaining a healthy skincare routine? Dermatologists or licensed skincare professionals can offer expert advice for a tailored grooming regimen. Who can provide accurate and updated information about the weather in Liverpool? Meteorological agencies or reliable weather forecasting services are reliable sources for updated weather conditions in Liverpool. Who can offer support or guidance to someone experiencing trust issues in personal relationships? Therapists, counsellors, or support groups specialise in offering guidance and support for individuals dealing with trust issues in relationships. Who can define or identify what is considered impressive beauty in different cultures or societies? Cultural experts, anthropologists, or aesthetic scholars often provide insights into diverse perceptions of beauty across various cultures. Who might be a good source for an excellent vegetable stew recipe? Chefs, cooking experts, or reputable cooking websites often offer diverse and delicious vegetable stew recipes. Who can recount accurate details or observations from what happened last night at the party? Close friends, designated party photographers, or individuals who stayed sober often hold accurate accounts of events at a party. Who is often seen as the arch rival in a specific sports team or individual competition? Competing teams, individuals, or historically fierce opponents are often considered arch rivals in sports or competitions. Who can assist in finding a special and unique present for a loved one? Personal shoppers, creative artisans, or boutique shop owners can help find unique and thoughtful gifts for special occasions. Who should ideally convey bad news with sensitivity and support? Trained professionals, close and supportive friends, or family members who can provide comfort and empathy are ideal for delivering bad news. Who can provide details about who drove the car during a specific incident or event? Eyewitnesses, individuals involved in the incident, or surveillance cameras might help identify who drove the car at a certain time. Who is known for displaying thoughtfulness in interpersonal relationships or gestures? Thoughtful friends, family members, or empathetic individuals often excel in displaying kindness and consideration in their interactions. Who might one approach for advice or guidance on initiating a first kiss or improving intimacy in a relationship? Trusted friends, relationship counselors, or experienced individuals in healthy relationships can offer guidance on navigating the topic of kissing and intimacy. Who should be approached for assistance or information when speaking to someone at a hotel? Hotel staff, receptionists, or the concierge can provide guidance or help facilitate communication with individuals at the hotel. Who might assist with technical issues or questions about a mobile phone? Customer service representatives, technical support personnel, or the mobile phone manufacturer's support team can help with mobile phone queries? Whose invention of the World Wide Web transformed the way information is accessed and shared globally? Sir Tim Berners-Lee, a British computer scientist, is credited with inventing the World Wide Web, revolutionizing communication and access to information worldwide. Whose scientific discoveries in genetics laid the foundation for the understanding of hereditary traits and the structure of DNA? Gregor Mendel, often called the father of genetics, conducted groundbreaking experiments on heredity, while James Watson and Francis Crick unveiled the structure of DNA, both contributing significantly to genetic science. Whose innovation revolutionized the development of modern headphones? Nathaniel Baldwin, an American inventor, is credited for creating some of the earliest modern headphone designs in the early 20th century. Whose responsibility is it to manage situations involving sheep crossing the road in rural areas? Typically, local farmers or shepherds are responsible for managing and ensuring the safety of sheep crossing roads in rural areas. Whose responsibility is it to approve a new application for a software company? The approval of a new application typically falls under the responsibility of the software development manager or the quality assurance team, whose expertise is sought to address chronic snoring issues. Medical professionals, particularly otolaryngologists or sleep specialists, can offer solutions and treatment for chronic snoring problems, whose assistance can be sought in locating a lost cable in an office setting. Office maintenance staff or co-workers who might have access to the office inventory could assist in locating a lost cable, whose role involves organising and maximising the efficiency of an office space. Office managers or space planners are typically responsible for organising and optimising the layout and efficiency of office spaces, whose role involves curating and selecting the headline news for a major news publication. Editors or news directors are typically responsible for curating and selecting the headline news for major news outlets, whose responsibility is it to maintain the safety of individuals on rooftops during construction work. Site managers, safety officers, or designated personnel oversee and ensure the safety of individuals on rooftops during construction, whose job involves the installation and maintenance of carpets in commercial buildings. Carpet installers or maintenance personnel, often hired by building management or facilities departments, handle the installation and upkeep of carpets in commercial spaces, whose responsibility is it to ensure beach safety during a holiday. Lifeguards, beach patrol officers, or designated safety personnel typically ensure beach safety during holidays, overseeing swimmers and enforcing safety protocols, whose insights are valuable when brainstorming and thinking with friends to solve problems. Each friend's unique perspective contributes to problem solving, making collective decisions diverse and valuable in finding solutions. Whose guidance is crucial for beginners learning to swim proficiently. Certified swim instructors or experienced swimmers often provide crucial guidance for beginners to learn swimming techniques safely and effectively. Whose responsibility is it to train a dog for obedience and good behaviour? Dog trainers or responsible pet owners take the lead in training dogs for obedience and good behaviour. Whom should someone approach for tips on crafting or finding good silly jokes for a specific audience or occasion? Someone seeking tips on crafting or finding good silly jokes can approach experienced comedians, comedy enthusiasts, or search online resources dedicated to humour and jokes. Whom should one contact for assistance with technical issues in a construction project? Contact the lead engineer or the project's engineering team for help with technical issues in a construction project. Whom did Pablo Picasso collaborate with during his Cubist period? And how did their artistic partnership redefine visual arts in the early 20th century? Picasso collaborated closely with Georges Braque during his Cubist period. Their artistic partnership transformed visual arts by introducing innovative techniques and perspectives, redefining the way art was perceived and created. Whom should you contact if you notice a maintenance issue or require assistance in a tunnel? Contact tunnel maintenance personnel or the appropriate authority responsible for tunnel management. Whom should you consult for expert advice on choosing the right type of paper for a printing project? Consult paper suppliers, print shop professionals, or graphic designers for expert advice on paper selection for printing projects. Whom did Marie Curie collaborate with in her groundbreaking research on radioactivity, and how did their partnership impact the understanding of atomic physics? Marie Curie collaborated with her husband Pierre Curie in their pioneering work on radioactivity. Their partnership significantly advanced the understanding of atomic physics and led to the discovery of radium and polonium. Whom can you consult for advice on choosing the most suitable hiking boots for a specific trail or terrain? Seek advice from experienced hikers, outdoor equipment specialists, or retail staff at outdoor gear stores for help in choosing suitable hiking boots. Whom should a customer consult for assistance in locating specific items or sections within the supermarket? Customers can approach the store staff or employees within the aisles for guidance in locating specific items or departments. Whom can children approach when in need of help or feeling lost while playing in the park? Children should seek assistance from park staff, security personnel, or approach any adult nearby, such as a parent with children, to ensure their safety. Whom should players notify about any equipment damages or safety concerns on the basketball court? Players should notify the court manager, facility staff, or referees about any damaged equipment or safety concerns to ensure a safe playing environment? Whom should individuals consult for guidance in choosing the most suitable internet package for their specific needs? Individuals seeking guidance in selecting the right internet package can consult customer service representatives or sales advisors at the Internet Service Provider's office. Whom can diners inquire with regarding the ingredients or preparation methods of new or unfamiliar dishes at a restaurant? Diners can inquire with the serving staff or the chef about the ingredients or cooking methods used in new or unfamiliar dishes at the restaurant. Whom should someone notify if they encounter issues or need alterations after purchasing a new belt from a store? Someone encountering issues or needing alterations with a new belt should inform the store's customer service or the clothing department to facilitate necessary adjustments. Whom should someone approach if they experience sudden changes in their vision or require immediate assistance for eye-related concerns? Someone experiencing sudden changes in vision or requiring immediate eye-related assistance should seek help from healthcare professionals or visit an eye clinic or hospital. Whom should you wave to in a professional context or formal environment when acknowledging someone across the room? In a professional setting or formal environment, you can wave to colleagues, business associates, or individuals you wish to greet from a distance. We have a flexible approach to what we're doing, which allows us to make any necessary changes as we go along. We have a flexible approach to what we're doing, which allows us to make any necessary changes as we go along. Your captivating personality makes you a shining star in social situations. Your captivating personality makes you a shining star in social situations. You might be morally right, but it is better to be pragmatic. You might be morally right, but it is better to be pragmatic. She was bubbling over with happiness and enthusiasm. She was bubbling over with happiness and enthusiasm. New technology has rendered my old computer obsolete. New technology has rendered my old computer obsolete. That possibility is not as far-fetched as it may seem from the outside. That possibility is not as far-fetched as it may seem from the outside. She will be responsible for overseeing strategic and operational plans. She will be responsible for overseeing strategic and operational plans. Much of the discount is pocketed by retailers instead of being passed on to customers. Much of the discount is pocketed by retailers instead of being passed on to customers. I had to swerve when that road hog overtook me and cut in front. I had to swerve when that road hog overtook me and cut in front. This gave the impression that they were open to thoughtful suggestions. This gave the impression that they were open to thoughtful suggestions. She's been promising to pay back the money for 6 months, but I reckon she's just stringing me along. She's been promising to pay back the money for 6 months, but I reckon she's just stringing me along. There are highly sensitive and delicately balanced ecosystems in the forest. There are highly sensitive and delicately balanced ecosystems in the forest. She was struck by the strangeness of her surroundings. She was struck by the strangeness of her surroundings. Instead of complaining about what's wrong, be grateful for what's right. Instead of complaining about what's wrong, be grateful for what's right. All those appearing on the register must notify the authorities of any change of address. All those appearing on the register must notify the authorities of any change of address. His disappointment was by no means an isolated example. His disappointment was by no means an isolated example. I'm seriously considering the possibility of emigrating. I'm seriously considering the possibility of emigrating. His photo is a wonderful happy moment caught with perfect timing. His photo is a wonderful happy moment caught with perfect timing. Her actions manifested a complete disregard for personal safety. Her actions manifested a complete disregard for personal safety. When I got home, he was already in his room, whistling away cheerfully. When I got home, he was already in his room, whistling away cheerfully. The fact that he didn't speak a foreign language put him at a distinct disadvantage. The fact that he didn't speak a foreign language put him at a distinct disadvantage. Viewpoints such as these are strongly challenged by environmentalists. Viewpoints such as these are strongly challenged by environmentalists. Perhaps when you've heard me out, you'll appreciate the reason for secrecy. Perhaps when you've heard me out, you'll appreciate the reason for secrecy. The broken lock facilitated my entrance into the empty house. The broken lock facilitated my entrance into the empty house. That kind of jealous behavior isn't conducive to having a healthy, strong relationship. That kind of jealous behavior isn't conducive to having a healthy, strong relationship. Cars move through the congested streets of London no faster than horse-drawn carriages did a century ago. Cars move through the congested streets of London no faster than horse-drawn carriages did a century ago. Forget all the reasons why it won't work and believe the one reason why it will. Forget all the reasons why it won't work and believe the one reason why it will. As if by magic, the waiter suddenly appeared with a tray of fancy cocktails. As if by magic, the waiter suddenly appeared with a tray of fancy cocktails. They've started a political vendetta against me because I told the truth. They've started a political vendetta against me because I told the truth. Flaws in the system have created a breeding ground for financial scandals. Flaws in the system have created a breeding ground for financial scandals. We'd arranged to go together, but Chris cried off at the last moment. We'd arranged to go together, but Chris cried off at the last moment. Taking a brisk walk can often induce a feeling of well-being. Taking a brisk walk can often induce a feeling of well-being. Each employee brings his or her own psychological baggage to the workplace. Each employee brings his or her own psychological baggage to the workplace. Scrape the old paint off, sand the surface down, and then varnish over it. Scrape the old paint off, sand the surface down, and then varnish over it. Her interest in politics began to overshadow her desire to be a poet. Her interest in politics began to overshadow her desire to be a poet. He has a reputation for rudeness and intellectual arrogance. He has a reputation for rudeness and intellectual arrogance. An injection of local anaesthetic is usually given first to numb the area. An injection of local anaesthetic is usually given first to numb the area. They'll be looking for a scapegoat if things don't go their way. They'll be looking for a scapegoat if things don't go their way. I owe the restoration of my hearing to this remarkable new technique. I owe the restoration of my hearing to this remarkable new technique. The reporter raised a question touching on the truthfulness of his statements. The reporter raised a question touching on the truthfulness of his statements. When you squeeze a handful of snow, the flakes cohere to make a snowball. When you squeeze a handful of snow, the flakes cohere to make a snowball. Please feel assured that we will abide by our promise. Please feel assured that we will abide by our promise. Careful scrutiny of the company's accounts revealed a whole series of errors. Careful scrutiny of the company's accounts revealed a whole series of errors. Employees should be fully acquainted with emergency procedures. Employees should be fully acquainted with emergency procedures. The article presents a somewhat lopsided view of events. The article presents a somewhat lopsided view of events. I have been reliably informed that the couple will marry next year. I have been reliably informed that the couple will marry next year. He was a showman, an extrovert who revelled in controversy. He was a showman, an extrovert who revelled in controversy. The new breed of walking holidays puts the emphasis on enjoyment, not endurance. The new breed of walking holidays puts the emphasis on enjoyment, not endurance. He was unaware that he was being fobbed off with out-of-date stock. He was unaware that he was being fobbed off with out-of-date stock. In the negotiations, he outmaneuvered his rivals by offering a higher price. In the negotiations, he outmaneuvered his rivals by offering a higher price. The ease in which she learns languages is astonishing. The ease in which she learns languages is astonishing. Occasionally, I saw clearings on the sides of the hills where banana trees grew. Occasionally, I saw clearings on the sides of the hills where banana trees grew. You must be scrupulous about hygiene when you're preparing food. You must be scrupulous about hygiene when you're preparing food. She was probably not consciously aware of the true nature of her feelings. She was probably not consciously aware of the true nature of her feelings. You might as well shoot for the moon and ask for a promotion as well as a raise. You might as well shoot for the moon and ask for a promotion as well as a raise. I was itching to get involved and to put my own theories into practice. I was itching to get involved and to put my own theories into practice. I admire the way she is able to shrug off unfair criticism. I admire the way she is able to shrug off unfair criticism. When he spoke, his voice was thick with bitterness. When he spoke, his voice was thick with bitterness. Her humour and determination were a source of inspiration to others. Her humour and determination were a source of inspiration to others. With children, it is important to achieve the right balance between love and discipline. With children, it is important to achieve the right balance between love and discipline. Finally, used lemon halves are perfect for wiping away smells from chopping boards. Finally, used lemon halves are perfect for wiping away smells from chopping boards. Some of us have habits few people know about, and we keep them this way. Some of us have habits few people know about, and we keep them this way. The promise of lower taxes may have been just an election gimmick to gain votes. The promise of lower taxes may have been just an election gimmick to gain votes. It's encouraging to receive a favourable report on one's work. It's encouraging to receive a favourable report on one's work. If you're both going to lie, at least stick to the same story and don't contradict each other. If you're both going to lie, at least stick to the same story and don't contradict each other. His judgments are based more on hearsay than on evidence. His judgments are based more on hearsay than on evidence. Worryingly, the plan contains few details on how spending will be cut. Worryingly, the plan contains few details on how spending will be cut. The main disadvantage of the material is that it fades in strong sunlight. The main disadvantage of the material is that it fades in strong sunlight. This mishap reminded me of a traffic accident I once experienced. This mishap reminded me of a traffic accident I once experienced. She would sooner resign than take part in such dishonest business deals. She would sooner resign than take part in such dishonest business deals. When I didn't hear from the suppliers or receive a refund, I chased the matter up. When I didn't hear from the suppliers or receive a refund, I chased the matter up. In order to validate the agreement between yourself and your employer, you must both sign it. In order to validate the agreement between yourself and your employer, you must both sign it. The tantalizing aroma of fresh coffee wafted towards them. The tantalizing aroma of fresh coffee wafted towards them. It's questionable whether anything of substance has been achieved. It's questionable whether anything of substance has been achieved. He tackled the problem in a typically haphazard manner. He tackled the problem in a typically haphazard manner. Will their good intentions become realities, or are they just hollow promises? Will their good intentions become realities, or are they just hollow promises? A reasonable proficiency in English is a prerequisite for the course. A reasonable proficiency in English is a prerequisite for the course. Bankers are cautiously optimistic about the country's economic future. Bankers are cautiously optimistic about the country's economic future. We are envious of others who have power because they represent a threat. We are envious of others who have power because they represent a threat. We often get complimentary remarks regarding the cleanliness of our patio. We often get complimentary remarks regarding the cleanliness of our patio. I could never lie to her because I know she'd see through me straight away. I could never lie to her because I know she'd see through me straight away. There is no doubt that good things will come, and when they do, they will be a surprise. There is no doubt that good things will come, and when they do, they will be a surprise. Most local residents strenuously object to the building proposals. Most local residents strenuously object to the building proposals. He exposed his children to music throughout their formative years. He exposed his children to music throughout their formative years. The company's expansion was predicated on the assumption that sales would rise. The company's expansion was predicated on the assumption that sales would rise. Against her black dress, her diamond necklace stood out clearly. Against her black dress, her diamond necklace stood out clearly. The team was glamorous but chaotic, and when things weren't going well, they were shambolic. The team was glamorous but chaotic, and when things weren't going well, they were shambolic. Pain and illness are sometimes thought to be the unavoidable consequences of growing old. Pain and illness are sometimes thought to be the unavoidable consequences of growing old. Seen from the student's viewpoint, the oral exam can be frightening. Seen from the student's viewpoint, the oral exam can be frightening. When preparing meals, you need to think about variety and taste as well as nutritional value. When preparing meals, you need to think about variety and taste as well as nutritional value. Regular exercise is better than occasional bouts of strenuous activity. Regular exercise is better than occasional bouts of strenuous activity. I personally guarantee total and immediate support in all measures undertaken. I personally guarantee total and immediate support in all measures undertaken. There was an undignified scramble for the free drinks. There was an undignified scramble for the free drinks. She deliberately muddied the waters by constantly referring to other irrelevant cases. She deliberately muddied the waters by constantly referring to other irrelevant cases. Is a person's behaviour under stress a reliable gauge of his character? Is a person's behaviour under stress a reliable gauge of his character? It's purely coincidental that we both chose to call our daughters Emma. It's purely coincidental that we both chose to call our daughters Emma. No disrespect to Phil, but the team has performed better since he left. No disrespect to Phil, but the team has performed better since he left. The engine had been making an ominous sound all the way from London. The engine had been making an ominous sound all the way from London. She let out a long, appreciative sigh. She let out a long, appreciative sigh. This iron is guaranteed for a year against faulty workmanship. This iron is guaranteed for a year against faulty workmanship. With a speciality like his, he could afford to wait until a really worthwhile chance came up. With a speciality like his, he could afford to wait until a really worthwhile chance came up. Be aware that fraudulent businesses often change their names to avoid detection. Be aware that fraudulent businesses often change their names to avoid detection. If you do not take back what you said, I shall not speak to you again. If you do not take back what you said, I shall not speak to you again. The writer clearly intends his readers to identify with the main character. The writer clearly intends his readers to identify with the main character. In all the confusion, there's a serious risk that the main issues will be forgotten. In all the confusion, there's a serious risk that the main issues will be forgotten. She is gracious and talented, and no one begrudged her good fortune. She is gracious and talented, and no one begrudged her good fortune. He was equally emphatic about the importance of discipline. He was equally emphatic about the importance of discipline. Although patience and persistence are painful, they can gradually bring you benefits. Although patience and persistence are painful, they can gradually bring you benefits. I prefer to give the youngster strategies that allow him to write independently. I prefer to give the youngster strategies that allow him to write independently. The strawberries are kept in cold storage to prevent them from spoiling during transportation. The strawberries are kept in cold storage to prevent them from spoiling during transportation. The dispute was all the more bitter because a prize was at stake. The dispute was all the more bitter because a prize was at stake. A van drove into their car, but luckily it was just a bump. A van drove into their car, but luckily it was just a bump. He was known for risky tactics that ranged from audacious to outrageous. He was known for risky tactics that ranged from audacious to outrageous. Visually, the change was too subtle to attract much notice. Visually, the change was too subtle to attract much notice. Inexperience does not serve the novice researcher well in these situations. Inexperience does not serve the novice researcher well in these situations. It's a humbling experience to see people so positive about life when they have so little. It's a humbling experience to see people so positive about life when they have so little. He tried to go incognito, but his bizarre disguise made him stand out even more. He tried to go incognito, but his bizarre disguise made him stand out even more. David waited anxiously, listening to the ticking of the clock on the wall. David waited anxiously, listening to the ticking of the clock on the wall. Traditional beliefs still flourish alongside a modern urban lifestyle. Traditional beliefs still flourish alongside a modern urban lifestyle. The enormity of the crime has shocked even the most experienced policemen. The enormity of the crime has shocked even the most experienced policemen. The team seems to have shaken off the jinx that's been surrounding them for months. The team seems to have shaken off the jinx that's been surrounding them for months. The house had many drawbacks, most notably its location and price. The house had many drawbacks, most notably its location and price. We really need a new heater, but the landlord's such a cheapskate that we'll never get it. We really need a new heater, but the landlord's such a cheapskate that we'll never get it. Foreign firms will all want a piece of the action if the new airport goes ahead. Foreign firms will all want a piece of the action if the new airport goes ahead. None of the setbacks could dampen his enthusiasm for the project. None of the setbacks could dampen his enthusiasm for the project. Ignoring fatigue, they kept at the job and finished it 3 weeks sooner than planned and with flying colours. Ignoring fatigue, they kept at the job and finished it 3 weeks sooner than planned and with flying colours. Unknowingly, she had been waiting for hours in the wrong place. Unknowingly, she had been waiting for hours in the wrong place. It is impossible to predict what the eventual outcome of global warming will be. It is impossible to predict what the eventual outcome of global warming will be. The child was clearly puzzled at being addressed in such a grown-up way. The child was clearly puzzled at being addressed in such a grown-up way. Some of these points will have to be further elaborated as we go along. Some of these points will have to be further elaborated as we go along. It was ungracious of me not to acknowledge your help. It was ungracious of me not to acknowledge your help. We asked them, as a matter of courtesy, if we could photograph their house. We asked them, as a matter of courtesy, if we could photograph their house. I have to quiz him about everything, and even then he won't tell the whole truth. I have to quiz him about everything, and even then he won't tell the whole truth. The benches were empty except for a single solitary figure. The benches were empty except for a single solitary figure. As he marks down the prices, he stops now and then to pack things into a large bag. As he marks down the prices, he stops now and then to pack things into a large bag. Medically, we will derive great benefit from this technique. Medically, we will derive great benefit from this technique. In remote regions, the air is pure and the crops are free of poisonous insecticides. In remote regions, the air is pure and the crops are free of poisonous insecticides. The decor includes many idiosyncratic little touches. The decor includes many idiosyncratic little touches. He preferred the company of those who were intellectually inferior to himself. He preferred the company of those who were intellectually inferior to himself. This massive autobiographical work was the logical culmination of her long career. This massive autobiographical work was the logical culmination of her long career. He said he had obtained the television innocently, not knowing it had been stolen. He said he had obtained the television innocently, not knowing it had been stolen. She appeared genuinely surprised by this gesture of affection. She appeared genuinely surprised by this gesture of affection. She made one or two snide remarks about their house, which I thought was a bit unnecessary. She made one or two snide remarks about their house, which I thought was a bit unnecessary. He had a reputation for being a bit slow-witted, but it didn't perturb him in the least. He had a reputation for being a bit slow-witted, but it didn't perturb him in the least. They admired the smoothness and efficiency with which the business was run. They admired the smoothness and efficiency with which the business was run. It takes a very buoyant personality to cope with constant rejection. It takes a very buoyant personality to cope with constant rejection. My eyes gradually became accustomed to the gloomy interior of the store. My eyes gradually became accustomed to the gloomy interior of the store. Potential customers are softened up with free gifts before the sales talk. Potential customers are softened up with free gifts before the sales talk. In my hurry to finish the exam, I had overlooked part of one of the questions. In my hurry to finish the exam, I had overlooked part of one of the questions. For most of my life, I had been a stranger to science and an uneasy companion to technology. For most of my life, I had been a stranger to science and an uneasy companion to technology. You'll need to be a little more imaginative if you want to hold their attention. You'll need to be a little more imaginative if you want to hold their attention. Perhaps I had misjudged him and he was not so predictable after all. Perhaps I had misjudged him and he was not so predictable after all. I stumbled from the room, dazed and confused, completely disoriented by what had just happened. I stumbled from the room, dazed and confused, completely disoriented by what had just happened. Simply putting them all into a large box is a totally impractical approach. Simply putting them all into a large box is a totally impractical approach. She closed her eyes tightly in a vain attempt to hold back the tears. She closed her eyes tightly in a vain attempt to hold back the tears. The company's restructuring is designed to give it a sharper focus on key growth markets. The company's restructuring is designed to give it a sharper focus on key growth markets. Try to control your impatience when any unexpected problem arises. Try to control your impatience when any unexpected problem arises. She had been careful to sweeten the deal with a rather generous cash payment. She had been careful to sweeten the deal with a rather generous cash payment. He reached his decision after a good deal of contemplation. He reached his decision after a good deal of contemplation. She tried in vain to point out to him the unfairness of his actions. She tried in vain to point out to him the unfairness of his actions. Since her appointment, the department has gone from strength to strength. Since her appointment, the department has gone from strength to strength. Their frustration and anger will manifest themselves in crying and screaming. Their frustration and anger will manifest themselves in crying and screaming. She succeeded by virtue of her tenacity rather than her talent. She succeeded by virtue of her tenacity rather than her talent. It was here that they experienced a taste of what normal family life could be really like. It was here that they experienced a taste of what normal family life could be really like. If your decision is a difficult or complicated one, write out what you want to say. If your decision is a difficult or complicated one, write out what you want to say. We'd better struggle for the future than regret the past. We'd better struggle for the future than regret the past. It's preposterous to suggest that everything was her fault. It's preposterous to suggest that everything was her fault. She left her address with a request that any mail be sent on to her. She left her address with a request that any mail be sent on to her. The questionnaire was intended to elicit information on eating habits. The questionnaire was intended to elicit information on eating habits. The adverse effect of excess alcohol is beyond question. The adverse effect of excess alcohol is beyond question. By now, a new restriction had been placed on their friendship by both parents. By now, a new restriction had been placed on their friendship by both parents. The underlying message of the movie is that love transcends everything else. The underlying message of the movie is that love transcends everything else. Early warnings of rising water levels prevented another major catastrophe. Early warnings of rising water levels prevented another major catastrophe. Try to paraphrase the question before you answer it. Try to paraphrase the question before you answer it. I have only ever seen as far as the next valley, and I have no idea what lies beyond. I have only ever seen as far as the next valley, and I have no idea what lies beyond. The forest has been so heavily logged that it is in danger of disappearing. The forest has been so heavily logged that it is in danger of disappearing. Our treatment is rigorous without being pedantic. Our treatment is rigorous without being pedantic. For once, I felt uncertain about blurting out my real feelings. I decided to play it cool. For once, I felt uncertain about blurting out my real feelings. I decided to play it cool. Several people have called the personnel department to inquire about the position. Several people have called the personnel department to inquire about the position. We must find a compromise that is agreeable to both sides of the party. We must find a compromise that is agreeable to both sides of the party. These atmospheric waves are a reliable indicator of weather changes. These atmospheric waves are a reliable indicator of weather changes. He was really depressed about the business last week, but he's all smiles now. He was really depressed about the business last week, but he's all smiles now. The President used today's speech to expand on remarks he made last month. The President used today's speech to expand on remarks he made last month. He had one potentially decisive factor in his favour: the element of surprise. He had one potentially decisive factor in his favour: the element of surprise. They adopt behaviour that is more socially acceptable among their peers. They adopt behaviour that is more socially acceptable among their peers. Those so-called friends of hers are a bad influence on her. Those so-called friends of hers are a bad influence on her. The detailed implementation of the plans was left to the regional offices. The detailed implementation of the plans was left to the regional offices. Every once in a while, you get to taste something distinctively different. Every once in a while, you get to taste something distinctively different. One alternative is to order decaffeinated coffee, which certainly is an improvement on the original version. One alternative is to order decaffeinated coffee, which certainly is an improvement on the original version. A manager's main task is to coordinate the collaborative efforts of a number of people. A manager's main task is to coordinate the collaborative efforts of a number of people. I have neither the time nor the inclination to play stupid games. I have neither the time nor the inclination to play stupid games. The future of healthcare cannot be considered in isolation from economic factors. The future of healthcare cannot be considered in isolation from economic factors. It's a funny sensation to know someone's talking about you in a language you don't understand. It's a funny sensation to know someone's talking about you in a language you don't understand. You can actually accomplish a lot more by using gentle persuasion. You can actually accomplish a lot more by using gentle persuasion. The tension in the office just dissolves when she walks out. The tension in the office just dissolves when she walks out. The road stretched out ahead of me until it narrowed to a vanishing point some miles away. The road stretched out ahead of me until it narrowed to a vanishing point some miles away. She described the distribution of food and medical supplies as a logistical nightmare. She described the distribution of food and medical supplies as a logistical nightmare. In her anger, she compressed her lips so tightly that they went white. In her anger, she compressed her lips so tightly that they went white. She felt a sudden rush of emotion at the thought of seeing him again. She felt a sudden rush of emotion at the thought of seeing him again. One of the distinguishing features of modern banking is its dependence on computers. One of the distinguishing features of modern banking is its dependence on computers. Luscious. Luscious, meaning of food or drink having a pleasingly rich, sweet taste. Of food or drink having a pleasingly rich, sweet taste. I like the luscious taste of ripe peaches. I like the luscious taste of ripe peaches. Proficient. Proficient, meaning skilled and experienced. Skilled and experienced. I'm a reasonably proficient driver. I'm a reasonably proficient driver. Blithe. Blithe, meaning happy and without worry. Happy and without worry. She shows a blithe disregard for danger. She shows a blithe disregard for danger. Imminent. Imminent, meaning about to happen. About to happen. The dark clouds show that a storm is imminent. The dark clouds show that a storm is imminent. Abnormal. Abnormal, meaning different from what is usual or average, especially in a way that is bad. different from what is usual or average, especially in a way that is bad. They thought his behavior was abnormal. They thought his behavior was abnormal. Ostensible. Ostensible. Meaning, appearing or claiming to be one thing when it is really something else. Appearing or claiming to be one thing when it is really something else. The ostensible reason for his resignation was ill health. The ostensible reason for his resignation was ill health. Strenuous. Strenuous. Meaning, needing or using a lot of physical or mental effort or energy. Needing or using a lot of physical or mental effort or energy. Don't do anything strenuous for a week or two. Don't do anything strenuous for a week or two. Rife. Rife. Meaning, very common or happens a lot. Very common or happens a lot. The office was rife with gossip and rumours. The office was rife with gossip and rumours. Disenchanted. Disenchanted. Meaning, no longer believing in the value of something, especially having learned of the problems with it. No longer believing in the value of something, especially having learned of the problems with it. He was becoming disenchanted with his job as a lawyer. He was becoming disenchanted with his job as a lawyer. Forthcoming. Forthcoming. Meaning, about to happen or appear. About to happen or appear. They promised that the money would be forthcoming. They promised that the money would be forthcoming. Winsome. Winsome. Meaning, attractive or appealing in a fresh, innocent way. Attractive or appealing in a fresh, innocent way. She gave him her best winsome smile. She gave him her best winsome smile. Timid. Timid. Meaning, shy and nervous, without much confidence, easily frightened. Shy and nervous, without much confidence, easily frightened. My horse is a bit timid and is easily frightened by traffic. My horse is a bit timid and is easily frightened by traffic. Permanent. Permanent. Meaning, lasting for a long time or forever. Lasting for a long time or forever. Her boss recommended a permanent transfer overseas. Her boss recommended a permanent transfer overseas. Latent. Latent. Meaning, present but needing particular conditions to become active, obvious, or completely developed. Present but needing particular conditions to become active, obvious, or completely developed. Without training, his musical talent remained latent. Without training, his musical talent remained latent. Coarse, coarse, meaning rough or harsh in texture. Rough or harsh in texture. The coarse fibres of the rope hurt her fingers. The coarse fibres of the rope hurt her fingers. Queasy, queasy, meaning feeling that you want to vomit. Feeling that you want to vomit. I started to feel queasy as soon as the boat left the harbour. I started to feel queasy as soon as the boat left the harbour. Vast, vast, meaning extremely big, extremely big. There was a vast array of colours to choose from. There was a vast array of colours to choose from. Crucial, crucial, meaning extremely important or necessary. Extremely important or necessary. It's absolutely crucial that we get this right. It's absolutely crucial that we get this right. Pivotal, pivotal, meaning of crucial importance in relation to the development or success of something else. Of crucial importance in relation to the development or success of something else. The talks are pivotal to the success of the country. The talks are pivotal to the success of the country. Concise, concise, meaning short and clear, expressing what needs to be said without unnecessary words. Short and clear, expressing what needs to be said without unnecessary words. Make your answers clear and concise. Make your answers clear and concise. Aromatic, aromatic, meaning having a pleasant and distinctive smell. Having a pleasant and distinctive smell. The wine has a rich aromatic flavour. The wine has a rich aromatic flavour. Credible, credible, meaning able to be believed or trusted. Able to be believed or trusted. He was unable to give a credible explanation for his behaviour. He was unable to give a credible explanation for his behaviour. Convenient, convenient, meaning fitting in well with a person's needs, activities and plans. Fitting in well with a person's needs, activities and plans. I'll call back at a more convenient time. I'll call back at a more convenient time. Conscientious, conscientious, meaning wishing to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly. Wishing to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly. A conscientious teacher may feel inclined to take work home. A conscientious teacher may feel inclined to take work home. Adjoining, adjoining, meaning of a building, room or piece of land, next to or joined with. Of a building, room or piece of land, next to or joined with. We heard laughter in the adjoining room. We heard laughter in the adjoining room. Alluring, alluring, meaning powerfully and mysteriously attractive or fascinating. Powerfully and mysteriously attractive or fascinating. Life in a big city is alluring for young people. Life in a big city is alluring for young people. Intrinsic, intrinsic, meaning being an extremely important and basic characteristic of a person or thing. Being an extremely important and basic characteristic of a person or thing. The intrinsic value of a coin is the value of the metal it is made of. The intrinsic value of a coin is the value of the metal it is made of. Prevalent, prevalent, meaning existing very commonly or happening often. Existing very commonly or happening often. These diseases are more prevalent among young children. These diseases are more prevalent among young children. Bountiful, bountiful, meaning large in quantity, large in quantity. We found a bountiful supply of coconuts on the island. We found a bountiful supply of coconuts on the island. Tentatively, tentatively, meaning in a way that may be changed later. In a way that may be changed later. The meeting has been tentatively scheduled for next week. The meeting has been tentatively scheduled for next week. Deceptively, deceptively, meaning in a way or to an extent that gives a misleading impression, to a lesser or greater extent than appears the case. In a way or to an extent that gives a misleading impression, to a lesser or greater extent than appears the case. It's a deceptively simple idea that's very difficult to put into practice. It's a deceptively simple idea that's very difficult to put into practice. Exquisitively, exquisitively, meaning in a very beautiful and delicate way. In a very beautiful and delicate way. The new packaging of this box is exquisitely designed. The new packaging of this box is exquisitely designed. Formally, formally, meaning officially, officially. They haven't formally announced their engagement yet. They haven't formally announced their engagement yet. Valiantly, valiantly, meaning in a way that is brave or determined when a situation is very difficult. In a way that is brave or determined when a situation is very difficult. Tom tried valiantly to rescue the drowning man. Tom tried valiantly to rescue the drowning man. Discreetly, discreetly, meaning in a way that is careful not to cause embarrassment or attract too much attention, especially by keeping something secret. In a way that is careful not to cause embarrassment or attract too much attention, especially by keeping something secret. She coughed discreetly to announce her presence. She coughed discreetly to announce her presence. Hilariously, hilariously, meaning in a way that is extremely funny. In a way that is extremely funny. He found the movie hilariously funny. He found the movie hilariously funny. Concisely, concisely, meaning in a short and clear way that expresses what needs to be said without unnecessary words. In a short and clear way that expresses what needs to be said without unnecessary words. The subject is summed up concisely in this book. The subject is summed up concisely in this book. Effortlessly, effortlessly, meaning in a manner requiring no physical or mental exertion. In a manner requiring no physical or mental exertion. Her son adapted effortlessly to his new surroundings. Her son adapted effortlessly to his new surroundings. Selfishly, selfishly, meaning with a lack of consideration for other people due to concern with one's own personal profit or pleasure. With a lack of consideration for other people due to concern with one's own personal profit or pleasure. The girl selfishly hid her toys. The girl selfishly hid her toys. Remarkably, remarkably, meaning used for emphasizing how surprising or unusual something is. Used for emphasizing how surprising or unusual something is. It is a remarkably noisy and crowded city. It is a remarkably noisy and crowded city. Joyously, joyously, meaning in a very happy way. In a very happy way. Money is now coming into my life easily and joyously. Money is now coming into my life easily and joyously. Awkwardly. Awkwardly. Meaning in a way that is difficult to deal with, use or do. In a way that is difficult to deal with, use or do. The car was parked awkwardly across the pavement. The car was parked awkwardly across the pavement. Ventilate. Ventilate. Meaning cause air to enter and circulate freely in a room or building. Cause air to enter and circulate freely in a room or building. Please ventilate the room well while applying paint to the walls. Please ventilate the room well while applying paint to the walls. Giggle. Giggle. Meaning to laugh repeatedly in a quiet but uncontrolled way, often at something silly or rude or when you are nervous. To laugh repeatedly in a quiet but uncontrolled way, often at something silly or rude or when you are nervous. She felt an overwhelming desire to giggle. She felt an overwhelming desire to giggle. Squabble. Squabble. Meaning to argue over something that is not important. To argue over something that is not important. He always likes to squabble with others over petty matters. He always likes to squabble with others about petty matters. Vouch. Vouch. Meaning to be able from your knowledge or experience to say that something is true. To be able from your knowledge or experience to say that something is true. Kim's mother agreed to vouch for Maria and get her a job. Kim's mother agreed to vouch for Maria and get her a job. Grasp. Grasp. Meaning to understand something, especially something difficult. To understand something, especially something difficult. I think I managed to grasp the main points of the lecture. I think I managed to grasp the main points of the lecture. Dwindle. Dwindle. Meaning to become smaller in size or amount or fewer in number. To become smaller in size or amount or fewer in number. When there is no rain for a long time, water supplies often dwindle. When there is no rain for a long time, water supplies often dwindle. Forgo. Forgo. Meaning go without something desirable. Go without something desirable. No one was prepared to forgo their lunch hour to attend the meeting. No one was prepared to forego their lunch hour to attend the meeting. Provoke. Provoke. Meaning, to try to make a person or an animal angry or annoyed. To try to make a person or an animal angry or annoyed. She had been trying to provoke her sister into an argument. She had been trying to provoke her sister into an argument. Extinguish. Extinguish. Meaning, to stop a fire or a light burning. To stop a fire or a light burning. It took about 50 minutes to extinguish the fire. It took about 50 minutes to extinguish the fire. Agitate. Agitate. Meaning, make someone troubled or nervous. Make someone troubled or nervous. I didn't want to agitate her by telling her the news. I didn't want to agitate her by telling her the news. Clarify. Clarify. Meaning, to make something clear or easier to understand by giving more details or a simpler explanation. To make something clear or easier to understand by giving more details or a simpler explanation. He issued a statement to clarify the situation. He issued a statement to clarify the situation. Dismantle. Dismantle. Meaning, to take a machine apart or to come apart into separate pieces. To take a machine apart or to come apart into separate pieces. I had to dismantle the engine in order to repair it. I had to dismantle the engine in order to repair it. Untangle. Untangle. Meaning, free from a tangled or twisted state. Free from a tangled or twisted state. She tried to untangle her skirt from the wire fence. She tried to untangle her skirt from the wire fence. Whimsical. Whimsical. Meaning, unusual and strange in a way that might be funny or annoying. Unusual and strange in a way that might be funny or annoying. He has a whimsical sense of humour. He has a whimsical sense of humour. Auspicious. Auspicious. Meaning, suggesting a positive and successful future. Suggesting a positive and successful future. It was an auspicious beginning to her career as an author. It was an auspicious beginning to her career as an author. Inquisitive. Inquisitive. Meaning, having or showing an interest in learning things, curious. Having or showing an interest in learning things, curious. The children were wide-eyed and inquisitive. The children were wide-eyed and inquisitive. Tedious, tedious, meaning too long, slow or dull, boring. Too long, slow or dull, boring. Filing papers at the office is a tedious job. Filing papers at the office is a tedious job. Cautiously, cautiously, meaning in a careful and well-considered way that avoids risk. In a careful and well-considered way that avoids risk. She dipped her toes cautiously into the sea. She dipped her toes cautiously into the sea. Enthusiastically, enthusiastically, meaning in a way that shows enthusiasm. In a way that shows enthusiasm. He greeted her enthusiastically with a kiss. He greeted her enthusiastically with a kiss. Competitively, competitively, meaning in a way that involves competition. In a way that involves competition. In his spare time, John races cars competitively. In his spare time, John races cars competitively. Defiantly, defiantly, meaning in a manner that shows open resistance or bold disobedience. In a manner that shows open resistance or bold disobedience. They defiantly rejected any talk of a compromise. They defiantly rejected any talk of a compromise. Cleverly, cleverly, meaning in a clever or skillful way. In a clever or skillful way. She was cleverly disguised as a policewoman. She was cleverly disguised as a policewoman. Foolishly, foolishly, meaning in an unwise manner, stupidly. In an unwise manner, stupidly. Foolishly, I didn't write the phone number down. Foolishly, I didn't write the phone number down. Majestically, majestically, meaning in a way that is beautiful, powerful, or causes great admiration and respect. In a way that is beautiful, powerful, or causes great admiration and respect. The cliffs rise majestically from the ocean. The cliffs rise majestically from the ocean. Hopelessly, hopelessly, meaning extremely or in a way that makes you lose hope. Extremely or in a way that makes you lose hope. We were hopelessly lost in the wilderness. We were hopelessly lost in the wilderness. Ferociously, ferociously, meaning in a strong, powerful, or very determined way. In a strong, powerful, or very determined way. These days, he is ferociously competitive. These days, he is ferociously competitive. Gleefully, gleefully, meaning happily and with excitement or pleasure. Happily and with excitement or pleasure. The old man had greeted her gleefully. The old man had greeted her gleefully. Suspiciously, suspiciously, meaning with a cautious distrust or suspicion of someone or something. With a cautious distrust or suspicion of someone or something. He saw two youths acting suspiciously. He saw two youths acting suspiciously. Vastly, vastly, meaning very much, very much. This book is vastly superior to his last one. This book is vastly superior to his last one. Promptly, promptly, meaning quickly, without delay, or at the arranged time. Quickly, without delay, or at the arranged time. I expect to be paid promptly for the work. I expect to be paid promptly for the work. Thoughtfully, thoughtfully, meaning in a way that shows you are thinking a lot about something. In a way that shows you are thinking a lot about something. He sipped at his beer thoughtfully. He sipped at his beer thoughtfully. Surprisingly, surprisingly, meaning unexpectedly or in a way that is unusual. Unexpectedly or in a way that is unusual. The weather was surprisingly warm and sunny. The weather was surprisingly warm and sunny. Solemnly, solemnly, meaning seriously and without any humour. Seriously and without any humour. She solemnly promised not to say a word to anyone about it. She solemnly promised not to say a word to anyone about it. Gracefully, gracefully, meaning in a smooth, relaxed, attractive way. In a smooth, relaxed, attractive way. The bird landed gracefully on the water. The bird landed gracefully on the water. Voluntarily, voluntarily, meaning of one's own free will. Of one's own free will. He voluntarily surrendered himself to the police. He voluntarily surrendered himself to the police. Supposedly. Supposedly. Meaning, used to show that you do not believe that something you have been told is true. Used to show that you do not believe that something you have been told is true. The book is supposedly based on a true story. The book is supposedly based on a true story. Obsessively. Obsessively. Meaning, in a way that involves thinking about something or someone or doing something too much or all the time. In a way that involves thinking about something or someone or doing something too much or all the time. He worries obsessively about his appearance. He worries obsessively about his appearance. Incoherent. Incoherent. Meaning, expressing yourself in a way that is not clear. Expressing yourself in a way that is not clear. She was clearly very ill, and at times her speech was incoherent. She was clearly very ill, and at times her speech was incoherent. Persevering. Persevering. Meaning, having the quality of continuing to make an effort to do or achieve something, even when this is difficult or takes a long time. Having the quality of continuing to make an effort to do or achieve something, even when this is difficult or takes a long time. A few persevering climbers finally reached the top of the mountain. A few persevering climbers finally reached the top of the mountain. Tactful. Tactful. Meaning, careful not to say or do anything that could upset someone. Careful not to say or do anything that could upset someone. Remember to be tactful when expressing a personal judgment. Remember to be tactful when expressing a personal judgment. Sincere. Sincere. Meaning, of a person, feelings or behaviour, not pretending or lying, honest. Of a person, feelings or behaviour, not pretending or lying, honest. He offered a sincere apology for his behaviour. He offered a sincere apology for his behaviour. Zealous. Zealous. Meaning, enthusiastic and eager. Enthusiastic and eager. The shop assistant is kind and zealous. The shop assistant is kind and zealous. Warped. Warped. Meaning, bent or twisted out of shape, typically as a result of the effects of heat or damp. Bent or twisted out of shape, typically as a result of the effects of heat or damp. The door must be warped. It won't close properly. The door must be warped. It won't close properly. Joyous, joyous, meaning full of joy, very happy. Full of joy, very happy. This is truly a joyous time. Congratulations and good luck. This is truly a joyous time. Congratulations and good luck. Measly, measly, meaning too small in size or amount, or not enough. Too small in size or amount, or not enough. That measly little paycheck barely covered the rent. That measly little paycheck barely covered the rent. Forlorn, forlorn, meaning alone and unhappy, left alone and not cared for. Alone and unhappy, left alone and not cared for. She looked so forlorn standing there in the pouring rain. She looked so forlorn standing there in the pouring rain. Palatable, palatable, meaning of food or drink, pleasant to taste. Of food or drink, pleasant to taste. There was certainly a lot of food, and it was all reasonably palatable. There was certainly a lot of food, and it was all reasonably palatable. Infatuated, infatuated, meaning having a very strong but not usually lasting feeling of love or attraction for someone or something. Having a very strong but not usually lasting feeling of love or attraction for someone or something. He's so infatuated with the idea that he can't talk about anything else. He's so infatuated with the idea that he can't talk about anything else. Bleak, bleak, meaning if a place is bleak, it is empty and not welcoming or attractive. If a place is bleak, it is empty and not welcoming or attractive. They showed me into a bleak waiting room. They showed me into a bleak waiting room. Fatherly, fatherly, meaning used to describe a man or male behaviour typical of a kind and loving father. Used to describe a man or male behaviour typical of a kind and loving father. I'd like to give you some fatherly advice. I'd like to give you some fatherly advice. Thrifty, thrifty, meaning showing a careful use of money, especially by avoiding waste. Showing a careful use of money, especially by avoiding waste. He was brought up to be thrifty and never to get into debt. He was brought up to be thrifty and never to get into debt. Vicious, vicious, meaning deliberately cruel or violent, deliberately cruel or violent. She wrote me a vicious letter after the incident. She wrote me a vicious letter after the incident. Indebted, indebted, meaning grateful because of help given, grateful because of help given. I am deeply indebted to all the doctors and nurses who treated me. I am deeply indebted to all the doctors and nurses who treated me. Woeful, woeful, meaning something very bad or unpleasant. Something very bad or unpleasant. His work displays a woeful lack of imagination. His work displays a woeful lack of imagination. Rowdy, rowdy, meaning noisy and disorderly, noisy and disorderly. He complained to the police about his rowdy neighbours. He complained to the police about his rowdy neighbours. Impartial, impartial, meaning not directly involved in a particular situation and is therefore able to give a fair opinion or decision about it. Not directly involved in a particular situation and is therefore able to give a fair opinion or decision about it. We offer impartial advice on tax and insurance. We offer impartial advice on tax and insurance. Punctual, punctual, meaning arriving, doing something, or happening at the expected correct time, not late. Arriving, doing something, or happening at the expected correct time, not late. Always be punctual for an interview. Always be punctual for an interview. Nimble, nimble, meaning quick and light in movement or action. Quick and light in movement or action. The boy was nimble and jumped clear of the truck. The boy was nimble and jumped clear of the truck. Plausible, plausible, meaning seeming likely to be true or able to be believed. Seeming likely to be true or able to be believed. The only plausible explanation is that he forgot. The only plausible explanation is that he forgot. Opulent, opulent, meaning expensive and luxurious. Expensive and luxurious. Most of the cash went on supporting his opulent lifestyle. Most of the cash went on supporting his opulent lifestyle. Unbiased, unbiased, meaning able to judge fairly because you are not influenced by your own opinions. able to judge fairly because you are not influenced by your own opinions. There is no clear and unbiased information available for consumers. There is no clear and unbiased information available for consumers. Exuberant, exuberant, meaning especially of people and their behaviour, very energetic. Especially of people and their behaviour, very energetic. She gave an exuberant account of the party. She gave an exuberant account of the party. Optimistic, optimistic, meaning hoping or believing that good things will happen in the future. Hoping or believing that good things will happen in the future. I'm very optimistic about our chances of success. I'm very optimistic about our chances of success. Crass, crass, meaning stupid and without considering how other people might feel. Stupid and without considering how other people might feel. The government has behaved with crass insensitivity. The government has behaved with crass insensitivity. Eagerly, eagerly, meaning in a way that shows that you want to do or have something very much, especially something interesting or enjoyable. In a way that shows that you want to do or have something very much, especially something interesting or enjoyable. Her latest novel is eagerly awaited. Her latest novel is eagerly awaited. Blissfully, blissfully, meaning without knowing any of the unpleasant facts about something. Without knowing any of the unpleasant facts about something. All this time, I was blissfully unaware of the situation. All this time, I was blissfully unaware of the situation. Inquisitively, inquisitively, meaning in a way that shows that you want to discover as much as you can about something or want to know something. In a way that shows that you want to discover as much as you can about something or you want to know something. The mouse looked around the room inquisitively. The mouse looked around the room inquisitively. Unbearably, unbearably, meaning in a way that is too painful or unpleasant for you to continue to experience. In a way that is too painful or unpleasant for you to continue to experience. The office gets unbearably hot in the summer. The office gets unbearably hot in the summer. Diligently, diligently, meaning in a way that is careful and uses a lot of effort. In a way that is careful and uses a lot of effort. They worked diligently all morning. They worked diligently all morning. Significantly, significantly, meaning in a way that is easy to see or by a large amount. In a way that is easy to see or by a large amount. Profits have increased significantly over the past few years. Profits have increased significantly over the past few years. Energetically, energetically, meaning with a lot of energy, with a lot of energy. The swimmer dived into the water and swam energetically away. The swimmer dived into the water and swam energetically away. Rationally, rationally, meaning in a way that is based on reason and clear thought, rather than emotions. In a way that is based on reason and clear thought, rather than emotions. She was too tired to think rationally. She was too tired to think rationally. Logically, logically, meaning in a way that uses reason. In a way that uses reason. His ideas were clear and logically presented. His ideas were clear and logically presented. Courteously, courteously, meaning in a way that is polite and shows respect. In a way that is polite and shows respect. He courteously opened the door for me. He courteously opened the door for me. Thoroughly, thoroughly, meaning completely, very much. Completely, very much. Mix all the ingredients thoroughly in a large bowl. Mix all the ingredients thoroughly in a large bowl. Analytically, analytically, meaning in a way that involves studying or examining things in detail in order to discover more about them. In a way that involves studying or examining things in detail in order to discover more about them. A teacher can encourage children to think analytically. A teacher can encourage children to think analytically. Substantially, substantially, meaning to a large degree, to a large degree. They contributed substantially to our success. They contributed substantially to our success. Progressively, progressively, meaning steadily in stages, steadily in stages. My eyesight has got progressively worse over the years. My eyesight has got progressively worse over the years. Accurately, accurately, meaning in a way that is correct, exact, and without any mistakes. In a way that is correct, exact, and without any mistakes. Scientists can forecast the weather accurately. Scientists can forecast the weather accurately. Confidently, confidently, meaning in a way that shows you are certain of your abilities or have trust in people, plans, or the future. In a way that shows you are certain of your abilities or have trust in people, plans, or the future. She spoke confidently into the microphone. She spoke confidently into the microphone. Imaginatively, imaginatively, meaning in a way that is new, original, and clever. In a way that is new, original, and clever. The stables have been imaginatively converted into offices. The stables have been imaginatively converted into offices. Efficiently, efficiently, meaning working or operating in an organised, quick, and effective way. Working or operating in an organised, quick, and effective way. I work more efficiently on my own. I work more efficiently on my own. Meticulously, meticulously, meaning in a way that shows great care and attention to detail. In a way that shows great care and attention to detail. She checked the painting meticulously for any damage. She checked the painting meticulously for any damage. Ambitiously, ambitiously, meaning in a way that shows a wish to be successful, powerful, or rich. In a way that shows a wish to be successful, powerful, or rich. Starting a new business requires you to think intelligently and ambitiously. Starting a new business requires you to think intelligently and ambitiously. Effectively, effectively, meaning in a way that is successful and achieves what you want. In a way that is successful and achieves what you want. You dealt with the situation very effectively. You dealt with the situation very effectively. Obediently, obediently, meaning in a way that does or shows that you are willing to do what you have been told to do by someone in authority. In a way that does or shows that you are willing to do what you have been told to do by someone in authority. The dog trotted obediently to his master. The dog trotted obediently to his master. Reciprocate, reciprocate, meaning to share the same feelings as someone else or to behave in the same way as someone else. To share the same feelings as someone else or to behave in the same way as someone else. They wanted to reciprocate the kindness that had been shown to them. They wanted to reciprocate the kindness that had been shown to them. Liaise, liaise, meaning cooperate on a matter of mutual concern. Cooperate on a matter of mutual concern. Her job is to liaise between students and teachers. Her job is to liaise between students and teachers. Astonish, astonish, meaning surprise or impress someone greatly. Surprise or impress someone greatly. The magician's next trick will astonish you. The magician's next trick will astonish you. Facilitate, facilitate, meaning make an action or process easy or easier. Make an action or process easy or easier. The new ramp will facilitate the entry of wheelchairs. The new ramp will facilitate the entry of wheelchairs. Pamper, pamper, meaning indulge with every attention, comfort and kindness. Spoil. Indulge with every attention, comfort and kindness. Spoil. Pamper yourself with our new range of beauty treatments. Pamper yourself with our new range of beauty treatments. Gawk, gawk, meaning to look at something or someone in a stupid or rude way. To look at something or someone in a stupid or rude way. Drivers slowed down to gawk at the accident. Drivers slowed down to gawk at the accident. Nudge, nudge, meaning to push something or someone gently, especially to push someone with your elbow to attract the person's attention. To push something or someone gently, especially to push someone with your elbow to attract the person's attention. I started to nudge my way to the front of the crowd. I started to nudge my way to the front of the crowd. Tingle, tingle, meaning experience or cause to experience a slight prickling or stinging sensation. Experience or cause to experience a slight prickling or stinging sensation. Her whole body seemed to tingle with expectation. Her whole body seemed to tingle with expectation. Yank, yank, meaning to pull something forcefully with a quick movement. To pull something forcefully with a quick movement. The dentist is going to yank this tooth out. The dentist is going to yank this tooth out. Simulate, simulate, meaning imitate the appearance or character of. Imitate the appearance or character of. The wood had been painted to simulate stone. The wood had been painted to simulate stone. Devote. Devote. Meaning, give all or most of one's time or resources to a person or activity. Give all or most of one's time or resources to a person or activity. She gave up work to devote more time to her children. She gave up work to devote more time to her children. Foreshadow. Foreshadow. Meaning, be a warning or indication of a future event. Be a warning or indication of a future event. The disappointing sales figures foreshadow more redundancies. The disappointing sales figures foreshadow more redundancies. Outdo. Outdo. Meaning, be superior to in action or performance. Be superior to in action or performance. He always tries to outdo everybody else in the class. He always tries to outdo everybody else in the class. Squash. Squash. Meaning, crush or squeeze something with force so that it becomes flat, soft, or out of shape. Crush or squeeze something with force so that it becomes flat, soft, or out of shape. He tried to squash 4 pieces of luggage into the car. He tried to squash 4 pieces of luggage into the car. Nourish. Nourish. Meaning, to provide people or living things with food in order to make them grow and keep them healthy. To provide people or living things with food in order to make them grow and keep them healthy. Children need plenty of good, fresh food to nourish them. Children need plenty of good, fresh food to nourish them. Interrupt. Interrupt. Meaning, stop the continuous progress of an activity or process. Stop the continuous progress of an activity or process. Sorry to interrupt, but there's someone to see you. Sorry to interrupt, but there's someone to see you. Horrify. Horrify. Meaning, fill with horror, shock greatly. Fill with horror, shock greatly. The news did not appear to horrify her. The news did not appear to horrify her. Signify. Signify. Meaning, to be a sign of something, to mean. To be a sign of something, to mean. Do dark clouds signify rain? Do dark clouds signify rain? Waft. Waft, meaning with reference to a scent or sound, pass or cause to pass gently through the air. With reference to a scent or sound, pass or cause to pass gently through the air. An unpleasant smell seemed to waft from the bedroom. An unpleasant smell seemed to waft from the bedroom. Ponder, ponder, meaning think about something carefully, especially before making a decision or reaching a conclusion. Think about something carefully, especially before making a decision or reaching a conclusion. He continued to ponder the problem as he walked home. He continued to ponder the problem as he walked home. Sprinkle, sprinkle, meaning to drop a few pieces or drops of something over a surface. To drop a few pieces or drops of something over a surface. Sprinkle sugar evenly over the top of the cake. Sprinkle sugar evenly over the top of the cake. Dislodge, dislodge, meaning knock or force out of position. Knock or force out of position. There's something between my teeth and I can't dislodge it. There's something between my teeth and I can't dislodge it. Frenetically, frenetically, meaning in a way that involves a lot of excited movement or activity. In a way that involves a lot of excited movement or activity. He was frenetically working to ensure that everything would go smoothly. He was frenetically working to ensure that everything would go smoothly. Blatantly, blatantly, meaning in a way that is very obvious and intentional when this is a bad thing. In a way that is very obvious and intentional when this is a bad thing. Safety guidelines have been blatantly ignored. Safety guidelines had been blatantly ignored. Tenderly, tenderly, meaning in a gentle, loving, or kind way. In a gentle, loving, or kind way. She was holding the cat in her arms and petting it tenderly. She was holding the cat in her arms and petting it tenderly. Frantically, frantically, meaning done in a hurried way and in a state of excitement or confusion. Done in a hurried way and in a state of excitement or confusion. They worked frantically to finish on time. They worked frantically to finish on time. Hastily, hastily, meaning said or done in a hurry, sometimes without the necessary care or thought. Said or done in a hurry, sometimes without the necessary care or thought. He hastily stuffed a few cloves into a bag. He hastily stuffed a few cloves into a bag. Reassuringly, reassuringly, meaning in a way that makes someone feel less worried. In a way that makes someone feel less worried. She reached out and touched his arm reassuringly. She reached out and touched his arm reassuringly. Briskly, briskly, meaning in a quick, energetic way. In a quick, energetic way. Walking briskly can burn off a lot of calories. Walking briskly can burn off a lot of calories. Anxiously, anxiously, meaning in a way that shows you are worried or nervous. In a way that shows you are worried or nervous. He's anxiously awaiting his test results. He's anxiously awaiting his test results. Inwardly, inwardly, meaning inside your mind and not expressed to other people. Inside your mind and not expressed to other people. He was inwardly relieved that the test was cancelled. He was inwardly relieved that the test was cancelled. Vaguely, vaguely, meaning in a way that is not clearly expressed, known, described, or decided. In a way that is not clearly expressed, known, described, or decided. I can vaguely remember my first day at school. I can vaguely remember my first day at school. Shyly, shyly, meaning in a nervous or timid manner. In a nervous or timid manner. She glanced shyly at him and then lowered her eyes. She glanced shyly at him and then lowered her eyes. Recklessly, recklessly, meaning in a way that is dangerous and shows that you are not thinking about the risks and possible results of your behaviour. In a way that is dangerous and shows that you are not thinking about the risks and possible results of your behaviour. He drove so recklessly that he collided with a tree. He drove so recklessly that he collided with a tree. Grudgingly, grudgingly, meaning in a reluctant or resentful manner. In a reluctant or resentful manner. She grudgingly admitted that I was right. She grudgingly admitted that I was right. Vividly, vividly, meaning in a way that is very clear, powerful, and detailed in your mind. In a way that is very clear, powerful, and detailed in your mind. I can vividly remember my grandfather teaching me how to play cards. I can vividly remember my grandfather teaching me how to play cards.